What's really in the way of efficiency? What's stopping you from being efficient? The sixth house is a house of our efficiency, ruled by Virgo. That is where we produce what makes our life efficient. The sign, energy, aspect, or planetary impulse that you have at the sixth house, all of these are forces, energies, and algorithms that you in your destiny must commit to in formula of the sixth house in order to produce the character of the 10th house that is for you. And that character of the 10th house, the capacity to receive responsibilities and duties according to your destiny. It equals a downpour, a rainfall of blessings into your second house, which enriches not only that which you inherit, that which you produce, that which you have or possess, but it also enriches your self-esteem, your confidence, your values, your morals, your ethos. And it also gives you a greater reason to establish firm boundaries, healthy boundaries, because you have something to value of yourself. But it all starts with the sixth house. What's stopping us from efficiency? The SouthNode Virgo is going to home right in on what has been in the way of us being efficient for our destiny, according to how we ourselves individually were meant to come here and work efficiency toward our aims and goals, according to who we are authentically, not the next person and not our favorite celebrity. Understand? The main things that have been in the way is exactly what we have overcome with the South Node Libra, North Node Aries. And what we have overcome is listening to the noise, following the noise, getting caught up in the noise, distracted by the noise. And the noise means those things which your astral body is attracted to, those things which your astral body longs for, those things that you have codependently subjected yourself to because you fear 12th house, or because you have guilt, 12th house, of some rejection of some form, of not fitting in or not being accepted. You fear not being on the good side of public scrutiny, public opinion, or the collective cheerleading that gives you validation. This has you to be inefficient with producing the character that you need to see what your destiny is all about, to have the full capacity to inherit the responsibilities and duties that arrives you right at the clear meaning of what your life is. The sixth house is what was skipped with the past timeline DEI hiring, affirmative action. I'm black, so you should hire me. I'm a girl, so you should hire me. I'm a black woman, so I should have everything of privilege of the world and I should be above the law. No, the sixth house is where you process yourself. You put in the work and effort to earn your existence and manifestation of the 10th house. DEI hiring and affirmative action has been skipping the 6th house out of especially African American females so that they can arrive at the 10th house in a position that they have not earned, in a position that they are not capable of, in a position that they are not conditioned for, that they are not properly trained for, that they don't have the competence for, that they don't have the character and attitude for because they did not work for it. And that is a problem. It leads to corruption. It leads to oppression. It leads to injustices. It leads to mishandling and irresponsibility. It causes problems. So this gets reestablished in the fiber of society that you will only have that which you work for. So if your sixth house does not indicate that you are ready and have formed yourself at the 10th house character from the efforts of your sixth house, you will not have the downpour to your second house. Understand that. The Virgo South Node transit will be from January 11th, 2025 up until July 26, 2026. North and South Node transit is for 18 months at a time. These are according to the lunar North and South nodes. The South Node is where we get the oil change, the release of toxins, corrosion. darknesses, demons, curses, inhibitions, fouls. The North Node is where we receive, we download the energy or the force that takes us into the future timeline for fulfillment. Understand? Out with the old, in with the new. And if you think of it like a straw, if you place a straw into a drink and you lift it up, it'll be empty. Because both the top or the north and the south node of the straw, it has passage of air. It has access for air to pass. And with access for air to pass, gravity can take full effect and release the liquid. If you place your finger on top of the straw, blocking the release of air, there's no vacuum. And because there's no vacuum, it holds on to that substance. So the north and south node has the same physics. Understand? Where something has to be downloading as something is released. And this makes the vacuum effect in how we receive certain energies, forces, impulses, according to timelines at 18 months at a time. North node, south node. At the north node, we're going to have Pisces, which is a polarity of Virgo. Understand? This axis is an Ahrimanic axis. We just came out of a Luciferic axis. AXIS. Understand? Luciferic having to do with arts, false knowledge or false light, deception through information and art. Those themes of art such as actresses, people who take fame or notoriety based on their looks and influence, charm and charisma, public opinion, information that goes around that stimulates the feelings, but yet it fails to produce results. Empty calories, junk food, bullshit. Understand? Now, as far as the Ahrimanic impulse, what we're bringing in now are earth themes, earth and water themes. This deals with infrastructure, stability, emotionality, fluidity. Understand? Anytime we're dealing with a water sign, we also are dealing with salvation. And salvation, it rests upon confession, atonement, and purity of character, intent, and will. Understand? Now, Virgo rules the sixth house. The sixth house of daily formulas, our daily rituals, our daily duties and responsibilities that are most immediate to the process of our daily challenges. It is how we approach the day. It is what we run into in the course of the day. What makes the day of our actions. It is also the house of open enemies. Those impulses of the 12th house, the subconscious, that have found their way through our hands, our tongue, and our feet. And they're right before us. This also includes co-workers, colleagues, people who we deal with and interact with every day in order to produce bread and status for the long run. Whoever's in front of you is a mirror that you yourself required. Understand? Now, know that Virgo also rules the digestive tract. The process of digestion in and of itself. The process of digestion. In parallel, Virgo does rule over our consciousness and awareness of health, purity and integrity, and diet. The food that we consume. The ingredients that are included or excluded from it. Virgo is where we have quality control. It's the quality control department, which is why OCD is a natural trait or disposition of Virgo algorithm of spirit or consciousness. Understand? Virgo is where we criticize, analyze, scrutinize in order to arrive at the highest quality, the best quality. It's looking for what's wrong. It is a disagreeable nature. However, it is always looking to serve. It is always looking to be a part of the most essential process. Virgo worries. And Virgo worries through its dissatisfaction at what it is producing. Always feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm not useful enough. I'm not needed enough. Leo wants to be needed. And Virgo shares something in common with Leo of wanting to be needed. But what is different about Virgo is I want to be needed in the way where my value is actually invaluable. I want to be part of what is most essential to making something possible. I want to be the key to efficiency in any operational situation. I want to be immovable, irreplaceable in what I have to offer. Virgo makes the king. Virgo is what gives pride to Leo. Without the Virgo algorithm of consciousness, Leo cannot take pride. Leo cannot shine in its luster of its gold disposition. The gold remains unpolished. It remains unrefined. It is because of Virgo that gold is refined. It has its refinement. That is what Virgo does. It refines and it perfects. And it does so through ethereal energy, intelligence, analytics, attention to details. At the South Node, what this looks like is faking the phone. Faking the phone. What this looks like is putting on for the gram. What this looks like is you want to be able to take pride and take credit for somebody else's light. You want to be able to say, I made him. You want to be able to say, I made her. Lacking sincere intention in this shadow of Virgo. The sincere intention is, I want you to prosper. I want this mission to prosper. But not so that on the back end, I could take all the credit and gloat. Saying, yeah, I made him. Yeah, I made her. Were it not for me. That's that bullshit. That's what we're not here to do. At SouthNode Virgo, this is going to be addressed. We have to part ways with this habit. We have to part ways with this attitude. The habit and attitude of, I don't want to help it to shine if I don't get credit for its shine, its luster. If I'm not going to get all the props for it. Because collectively, this does not manifest Aquarius. Aquarius is about the mission. It's about the collective cause. It is a selfless operation where self is no longer important. On the opposite end, or the polarity of Aquarius, is Leo, where self is very important. Pluto is in Aquarius. And the context of power in the timeline now is that you are not so damn important as you want to convince others that you are, or yourself that you are. You're not so damn important. Your importance manifests when you become part of something that is bigger than you. That is more important than your immediate ideals of yourself. This is where we learn to swallow our pride and leave it behind in the old timeline and become useful, become valuable through the purpose that we come collectively together and committed upon. The spirit and the practice of individualism gets left behind, not taking it with us. SouthNode Virgo, as you know, RFK is taking over, according to President Donald Trump's, the newly elect, has appointed RFK over public health. And with RFK being over public health department, these operations that deal with what we consume, already the noise is raising, the consciousness is raising even before RFK takes this office, which is a clear sign and indication, a reminder to us that it is not the person, it is the energy, and certain persons manifest to carry and deliver the objective of the energy. Understand, which is why we must not cross the line to worship people. Yes, it's great that Donald Trump became president, but some cross the line into worshiping Donald Trump, and that's where you're wrong at. Understand, nobody's to be worshiped, because the energy is already there in and of itself, collectively in the spirit and consciousness of the people. RFK is going to bring concentration and authority to the energy that is already present, so that it can have permanence in the infrastructure of the country and society. Understand, this will take place in England, this will take place in Australia, Africa, China, Korea, I don't care where you're at, okay? Energy is going to permeate the earth and express itself in your country however it goes. Back to the point made, already Kellogg's is under heavy scrutiny and challenged by the public, by the people. There are protests going up as we speak. Over 115,000 signatures against Kellogg's usage of toxic ingredients, chemicals, in the food products. Already hitting the headlines are conversations about the integrity of the West, the Western food ingredients, especially America. Anyone who's not living under a rock has heard it already. Ketchup in America versus ketchup in Europe. Fruit Loops in America versus Fruit Loops in Europe are just some small examples of the macrocosm of problems that we face in diet. And how harmful these chemicals are, to the point where in some countries they are banned, but yet here in America they are legal. Why? Asthma, high blood pressure, all kinds of medical issues that leads you straight to the pharmaceuticals. Subjecting a people who can hardly afford quality medical care or insurance. And when these matters become malignant, it's damn near impossible to get fairness in medical processes, procedures, and funding. As you've heard already, the frustration is reaching the people. Look at Luigi, who the public is naming themselves as a hero. I'm not here to say he's a hero. I'm not here to condone somebody taking someone else's life. I do not want to be someone who promotes that idea. But looking at the objective of where people's minds and hearts and consciousness is at with topics, with subjects like this, it hits home. Too many times people see that there are avoidable situations and circumstances from a medical standpoint. And when you're trying to get funding, you're trying to get financing, you're trying to get help, you get the runaround, and you can never talk to a person because the higher ups in corporations are so high up in the skyscraper, you never get to hold them accountable. You never get to hold them accountable. Look at what just happened with the COVID situation and shots. Dr. Fauci has been exposed, allegedly, and inconsistencies behind his instructions to the United States concerning COVID. There's a lot of inconsistencies, and the people have great concern with great reason. A lot of people died. There was a lot of trouble behind that. Until this day, nobody knows what was being shot into the bloodstream. People lost jobs, lost careers, lost status, lost family members, and everything else behind this. People are not going to forget these things. And SouthNode Virgo is bringing all of this to a concentration. Virgo is the maiden, the maidservant, and she rules over integrity of what is digested or ingested into the body. And it is not just as simple as the diet of bread, water, and grain, mineral and vegetation. It also has to do with what information you're consuming, what experiences you are consuming, what relationships you are consuming. Anything that you are consuming of the full spectrum of the human experience, it gets digested and processed. And it becomes a part of your being, your body, just as food does. And when you digest or ingest that which has toxins, ailments, impurities, you are taking in stages and phases of death unto yourself. And this is never to be forgotten, that it transcends all aspects of the human existence, the process of digestion, consumption. What have we been consuming? What effect has consumption been taking upon us? $1 billion in beauty industry. $1 billion in beauty industry. Some years reach trillion in beauty industry. Makeup, wigs, lashes, BBLs. Why? There's a sickness. There's an addiction. The consumption is a sign of a sickness. It's a sign of an illness. It's symptomatic. To be buying all this stuff, to spend so much money on all of this, and you still ain't married. You still can't keep a man. You still don't know who your kid's father is. You still got 2, 3, 4, 5 baby daddies. None of that saves you from this death, from that fate. Why are you consuming so much, spending so much money on these consumables? Who's the greatest consumer in the world? African American. In the African American community, who is the greatest contributor to the status of being the greatest consumption? The black female, the African American female. She is the number one consumer in the entire earth. Number one. There's no greater consumer than her. And most of it goes to beauty. And still can't get no damn man or keep a man. Virgo addresses these things. We're trying to be perfect with the wrong intentions. We're trying to be valuable with the wrong intentions. We're trying to serve the wrong aims. We've been using our Virgo to polish false light, to polish Venus instead of the sun, to polish Libra instead of Leo. This is where we sell our souls to Satan. When we use the force of our Virgo to shine in a false light, to polish fool's gold, to try to form fool's gold into jewelry. We're making lies of our life, fraudulent displays and demonstrations in our life. SouthNode Virgo is where this ends, is where this stops, where we have to look a close examination of self. Why am I working so hard to make fool's gold shine? Why am I living so fake? Does this really even mean anything, what I'm doing and devoted to? You see, Leo is the true light. It's the light of the sun. The algorithm of the sun. It is warmth, truth, consistency, a steady burning light. The strength card. Royalty, kingly, generous, eager to serve its subjects. The expression of the Christ impulse. The expression of inner child. Leo. This is true light. God's Son, S-U-N. Understand? This is what our Virgo is to polish. Our fifth house. This is what our Virgo is to give luster and shine and refinement to. Our Leo placement. Through our Virgo, our Leo shines. It is the finishing school of our talent, the finishing school of our character, the finishing school of our attitude, the way that we show up, the finishing school of our personality. Put a book on your head and walk down there. Curtsy, sit up straight, cross your legs, eat like this, eat like that. Manners, values, integrity. That is what really gives illumination, character, values. How long have we been using twerking? Shake something. Brand names of European fashion. Blowing the bank to look like your favorite artist, your favorite celebrity. Big cars and still paying rent. Luxury vehicles and a gas tank is always on E. Killing the fuel pump. Servant of false light. We're coming out of feminism and liberalism, dominating and ruling the society in the best interest of corporate America and the Rothschild and Rockefeller theme and dream, who enabled feminism and liberalism to become the dominant culture. The same ones who took oil that was used for engines and repurposed it in the diet of American society and Western society. They did the same thing to the African American woman. Lured her out of her family. Opened the gates to false education, luciferic education. As you go to college and get these degrees, you don't get educated, you get trained. And it goes straight to their ego. That I got this degree, I got that degree, still dumb as a box of fucking rocks. But they're well trained at something. Not knowing that it has nothing to do with you having or not having intellect. No matter how much college training you get, if you don't have intellect, it is futile. Well trained for the corporate machine. And the feminist woman wants nothing in life more than a stable career that gives her power, authority, and domination over the very one who she lives to envy, which is a man. She envies the destiny of man. She envies the lot of man. She envies the role and the design of man. She envies the fate of man. She envies the disposition of man that God has given him. She envies it. And it kills her inside. And this is only because she has not taken on her freedom to discover, explore, learn, understand, and accept her own destiny and fate as a woman. She does not want it. She is jealous of a man. And she wants what he has. Women have alienated men from their rights in society, alienated them from their children, alienated them from households, and then blamed it on them. 70% of divorces are initiated by women. Women are incentivized in America to divorce. Incentivized. You get a reward for doing it. Just like the black woman got a reward for turning the man in if you oblige upon Section 8 and the welfare state. Women were getting compensated and still have been getting compensated even until recent times to do the things that they do in the name of liberalism, feminism, and having power over the man. Where has it gotten her? Loss, confusion, self-destruction, and her children turn out worse than she. Soft, sexually confused, impotent, drug addicts, violent and bloodthirsty, but cowardly, can't read or write. These are the youth raised by single parents, confused in themselves, emotionally unstable, materialistic, weak. The sons turn into terrorists and the daughters turn into prostitutes. This is the American youth. Unfit for battle. SouthNode Virgo brings all of this to a focusing point. As women, you have not been on your post because you've been striving and working so hard to have the post of the man, to have his destiny and to have his role, his identity, trying and your damnedest to steal his identity, to steal his fate, to take and steal his destiny. Giving all you got. Meanwhile, what you came to earth to do is still abandoned. The post is still open. And this is the crisis of SouthNode Virgo. While you over there distracted doing something that you ain't got no damn business doing, something that ain't got nothing to do with you and what God designed you to do and fulfill, your job was still over here waiting. And while it was waiting, your male counterpart had to subject himself to the number 9 hermit card, which is the process of Virgo itself. So he's already ahead in the timeline because feminism isolated the man and subjected him to the number 9 hermit card process, which is to rebirth him through Christ's impulse. This is the manifestation of Isis who sits Osiris on the lap. The rebirthing of the Son, S-U-N, of God, which is Christ's impulse. The reborn man who has consciousness through the wisdom he has collected through connecting back to source, which is God. And that can only come through isolation. Divine masculine number 9. This is what Virgo is. And man has already gone that journey, even while she has not even known it. So he's already there. And while he's there, he's serving himself. He cleans his own carpets. He washes his own dishes. He cooks his own food. He comforts himself. He nurtures himself. He cuts his own nails. He buys the services that he needs. Why? Because females chose to change the design of God. Man, woman, child. Females chose to deface the image of nature. And he had to figure it out, and he did. So now that feminism and liberalism is fallen, she's going to want to come back to her post. She's going to want to come out of the wilderness and back into the security of an identity that she is to assume privilege and protection through, which is the feminine. But now what the problem is you're not needed. We already figured it out while you were gone. We already regulated and reformed the infrastructure to make sure that we could live without you, that we could do without you. And this is the crisis of Virgo. I can't take a role where I could be replaced. I can't take a role where somebody else can come in and just do it. I have to take a role where I can't be replaced. Well, you're in a pickle. You're in a pickle. Because you forced him to come to the realization that he's the one that doesn't need you. While you are the one who are using the bottom of your lungs, the depth of your diaphragm to scream out into the world, I don't need no man. But turns out you are the one who needs man, and man is the one who does not need you. The infrastructure of America has changed. Donald Trump is president. The White House has turned red from top to bottom. And for you out there who don't know what this lingo means, I'm not even talking to you because you are willfully ignorant. And you deserve everything coming to your ignorant ass because you're part of the problem. If you don't know what that means, you are part of the problem. And I have no sympathy for you at all. None. I have no sympathy for you. You deserve everything that's coming to you for your willful ignorance. You're part of the problem. The White House is red. Therefore, American society is red. There is no more support in the infrastructure for feminism and liberalism to prevail. And she's too caught up in her delusions. She's too stubborn in her arrogance to pay attention to it. It will all be but too late. And she's going to try to rush back into the safety of a status and a role that she rejected of her own will. Not finding a place in the world and society where she could feel valuable and useful. Because you rejected your destiny. You rejected your identity. Pookie will always want you. The rainbow community will always want you. And you know you can go lick a twat because that's what y'all like to do any damn way. Lick a twat. That's the liberal woman. They like to lick a twat. Go have fun with that. Get a girlfriend. Men have awakened. And as men awaken, women had no clue that this was the case. But they're going to find out in live time during the Virgo SouthNode transit. Sorry, we don't need you. Positions are already filled. Now I could do without that. Why would I take you a burden? Paying more money, more emotional demands and manipulation, all type of confusion and problems in my life. No, I already figured out how to be peaceful with myself. I figured out how to have a peace of mind with myself. I don't need you disturbing that. No, thank you. With all your craziness. Men love peace. Men love quiet. Men love repetition and stillness. Nobody wants your turn up in your loud mouth, your confusion, your burden. You're annoying. And specifically who I'm talking about, the liberal woman. The liberal woman. She doesn't bring benefit into life. She brings troubles into your life. Burdens, confusion, debt, curses. She's a public bathroom. Many men run through her. Every hole in her body is filled by strange men. She has no respect for herself. She has no respect for authority. Anything goes. She assumes herself above the law. And with America turning red, your daughters are not safe unless you teach them. Because African American daughters have no respect for authority. They have no self-restraint. They have no discipline. They have no morals and integrity, no values, no nothing. They're full of weed and sexual addiction. They're trouble everywhere they go. America is no longer going to pander to that energy, to that spirit. America's no longer going to accommodate it. When you strike, you're going to get struck back. When you stand up and raise up, you're going to get risen right back upon. Your days of being a bully is over, because now you're going to get bullied if you get out of place. This is a new America. We're in a new timeline. And an African American woman is the least desired in this country because she's the most problematic in this country. The liberal. No one brings more trouble to this country than her, to society, to every business place and space, professional environment, family. And her influence is powerful. Many women envy her expressions, but they most certainly do not want her lot. They use her to do their dirty work. And she does it with her tail wagging, full of excitement, like a well-trained German shepherd. She has no loyalty. She has no identity. She hates God. And she defies anything truthful, anything righteous, anything good. She wants nothing to do with it. Peace scares her. I'm not here to say what's popular. I'm not here to be popular. I'm very unpopular. I am the infamous. Understand that. SouthNode Virgo is about to get real. We are going to demand integrity, public health, and food. We're going to demand integrity and public policies, as there are going to be plenty of public health crises during the Virgo South Node transit. There will be public health crisis. It's inevitable with that consciousness, with the algorithm of Virgo. And the people are not going to be so easy this time, so forgiving, so overlooking with anything crooked or questionable. The North Node represents the blood, Pisces. That is the blood. And because it's at the North Node, it is purification of the blood. And purification of the blood is not only the diet. It is purification through the purging, cleansing of that which we consume, coming back to originality, coming back to authenticity. That purifies the blood in all thresholds of who we are as a human. Relationships, diet, the information and knowledge that we material, intelligent or ethereal material that we consume, the relationships that we have and commit to, the purposes and causes that we come together upon, that we invest in, purification of the blood, and yes, diet at the foundation of what this means. We are going to become a people collectively who emphasize a pure and clean diet. Taking pride in a pure and clean diet. And through the clean diet, we open up greater depth and expansion to clairvoyance that we as a collective have access to. We are going to generate a collective clairvoyance that puts us on the same page globally in what we're ushering in, which is the Christ impulse. And the Christ impulse is we are going to standardize and lift up the value of wisdom, compassion, love, unity, forgiveness, tolerance. And this is going to be a global sweep of understanding that passes over the world. It first will generate in the heart in resistance to its opposite energy imposed upon us, which is what causes it to rise in us as the people, the Christ consciousness. The planets that this is pulling off of, just remember the lords of Pisces, Neptune, and Jupiter. Jupiter being the crown chakra, higher frequencies of the consciousness of white light. Neptune, compassion and understanding, tolerance, the dissolve of all forms, separations and divisions, down to the essence of seeing that we all are one. Dissolving and burning away falsehoods, dissolving and burning away, purifying contaminations that stands in the way of us showing up in authenticity, being authentic. The Pisces North Node is going to have us to walk in the image and name and consciousness attitude of unconditional love. This is going to open up your 12th house. The material that you have been working through in your 12th house due to the Saturn transit through Pisces. Your 12th house powers and impulses, you are going to release generational curses. Generational curses globally are going to drop and dissolve by the power of Neptune. Understand. And with the generational curses dropping and dissolving, we are at a conscious now where we are aware of what patterns we have been subjecting ourselves to create and co-create generational curses. And collectively, we will come together and stay on the same page of not doing that again, not doing that anymore. We are a new people. And the 12th house becomes compassion. It becomes unconditional love. That which you suffered to understand. That which you suffered to be sensitive to. That which you suffered to feel sorry for in others, to have empathy for in others, to have compassion and forgiveness for others, because you yourself suffered that energy of the 12th house. So when you see it in other people, it opens up unconditional love from the heart space, and it makes you stand in the image and likeness of God, Pisces, in that person's life who you are proactive to be an advocate for through Cancer, which is downloading power of advocacy in every one of us. The water triangle is activating. Understand, Juno at Scorpio is showing that my commitment is to my personal constitution of my instincts that I know I can always trust, and to my resilience that I know I could trust, to always face the truth and not run from the truth. So when disillusionment comes, I know I am to surrender so that I can transform and remain empowered and not disempowered through the suffering of being attached to what I prefer to be true, but it is not true. I have acceptance. Father God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Scorpio, understand. Your 12th house is being generated, it's being purged by Saturn, Empowerment and authority is being lent to you for that 12th house power to be used and utilized in the world collectively as a single expression of Aquarius. This is where everybody's 12th house comes together and it serves humanity. Ceres has already crossed into Aquarius, giving us a glimpse of what that looks like. Understand. Any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and drop it down below in the comment section. Do not assume. If you need to get a reading to know what this means for you at the upcoming of SouthNode Virgo, North Node Pisces, you need to go to www.theinfamousastrologist.com. That is the-infamous-astrologist.com, so that you can schedule for a reading. And these questions are important because it's part of how we seek understanding. SouthNode Virgo transit, this is where there has to be purification. There has to be cleanup. Everything is toward efficiency at this point. And what's in the way of efficiency is being inauthentic, being something that you're not, being somebody that you're not. Especially because we just finished feminism, liberalism, as now a fallen regime. It has finally been defeated. It has had women for decades in inauthentic dispositions of themselves, full of envy and rage, righteous anger, attempting to obtain and inherit the destiny of male counterparts, of men. Jealousy of men. Now comes a time where everyone must be the self. Whatever you were born with, whatever you were born to do, that is your focus, not somebody else's. No more envy, jealousy, trying to do what somebody else is doing and take what somebody else got. You got to realize your own blessings. You have to realize your own destiny and fate. And you have to stay focused with that. You have to nurture it. What are you here to do? SouthNode Virgo makes sure that this is the case. What's in the way of you producing what the world needs, what your family needs, what you need through your 6th house. Part of what was in the way, the 12th house, fearful and guilt-filled codependent impulses. That Saturn is still working to heal and lend you authority and strength from. Saturn is working on giving you that strength, freeing you up from subconscious fears and guilt. The fear of not being accepted, the fear of not looking a certain way, the fear of not having a certain kind of hairline, the fear of not having a certain kind of butt, the fear of not fitting in certain statuses, the fear of not this and fear of not that. Everything except for being yourself. You're responding to all these fears and guilt. And Libra is where that energy came in at. That's finished up. And with that finished up, we have processed through enough experiences to where we have empowerment concerning this. So there's no excuses. The 12th house was trying to find you to give it authority. These 12th house impulses give me authority to take form so that I can come and curse your life. Acknowledge me and bring me into existence so that I can come and partake in your fate. And we have been doing it. Taking the 12th house dark shadow impulses and bringing them right into the 6th house, creating an enemy dead in front of us, not realizing that the enemy is within and is being reflected in who and what is right in front of us. But we are the ones who authorized it to come into existence, just like Sarah Connor. Understand. Virgo is where we face it and deal with it. That 12th and 6th house axis. Your subconscious and that which you do consciously. Knowing that the 6th house is what produces the 10th house. And the 10th house is what rains down onto the 2nd house. The earth triangle. The sixth house is your offering. It's your daily offering. Cain killed Abel because he was jealous that his offering was not accepted, but yet his brother's was. And here we are with the same righteous anger, Cancer Mars, that Cain did concerning Abel, because our offering is not being accepted. But come to find out, it's because our offering is incorrect at the sixth house, because at the 12th house we have unresolved subconscious matters, issues that's packed in there that we refuse to acknowledge and deal with. You're still walking around with the wig. You're still walking around with the lashes. You're still being something, everything that you're not. You still refuse to be yourself. You're still trying to be what you're seeing on TV. You're still afraid to show up as your authentic self because you don't want to get rejected. You don't want people to say, no, we don't want to play with you. No, you can't come. Fake and fraudulent existence. You don't want to side with truth because it's not popular to side with the truth. You don't get friends that come with the truth. You don't get a crowd that comes with the truth. You don't get monetized when you're with the truth. So you abandon the truth because of all that you think you will gain of worldly things. Satan came to Jesus and offered him everything that already was his in the first place. Get ye behind me, Satan, is what he said. Man should not live by bread alone. Virgo South Notice, they show you that you are not to live by bread alone. Your sixth house offering is shitty. It's not sincere, it's not true, it's not real. The things that you were doing on the daily and the reasons why you're doing it is all false, because of 12th house, you got fear and guilt that's subjecting you to these behaviors, these actions, these commitments. Some people go to college for years, become a career student. Some people go and take upon this career and upon that career. And it has nothing to do with what's in their heart. It's all because I want recognition, I want attention, I want validation, but it has nothing to do with what is truly happiness for the heart. You're so concerned about the feedback you're going to get from the people. What is Libra? Libra is feedback from other people. We just finished that. SouthNode Libra is addressing these things. It's time to be real, to be authentic. Knowledge is like silver and gold, even fine jewels. Wisdom is the principal thing, thus saith the Lord. Understand, wisdom is the principal thing. But with all thy getting, get understanding. The fact that God says, with all thy getting, get understanding, that places the responsibility on you to get the understanding. Why? Because you have to be the one who's proactive to seek out an understanding. Not just sit your fucking ass there assuming that you know, being arrogant. If you don't know, ask questions. Seek for an understanding. Not taking assumptions. You seek an understanding. Because with all thy getting, get understanding. Therefore, this means you must ask questions with everything that you are assuming to know or understand. You have to ask questions, because questions is what narrows down the understanding. Questions is represented by Gemini in and of itself. This is what we are learning. Jupiter is at Gemini currently. Gemini is to ask the question, why? Why? So stop being fucking arrogant. Ask the question.